When I was 10 years old, my mom committed suicide. How little value I must have. How worthless I must be if my mom was so readily able to just take her own life. She must have thought I was worth so little that she was okay with that. And I struggled with that for a long, long time. Decades. And it was only recently that I realized her choice to take her own life speaks nothing to my value. It speaks nothing to my worth. Her decision to take her own life was just that, her decision to take her own life. I spent most of my life being extremely angry at her, and if I really was honest today, I know that I was so angry because I was so hurt. And so sad that she just chose to leave. She made a really selfish choice and decided that her life had no value. Being a survivor of suicide is this club that you belong to, that you don't want to belong to. And I feel like I don't know a ton of members of this club. I know they're out there because statistically, there should be thousands and thousands and thousands of us. But because nobody talks about it, you feel alone a lot. You feel isolated, and you feel like nobody gets you. I had to do a lot of work to go through it to a healthy place. I feel like I didn't talk about it for the first 13 years. I felt like I was, if I don't think about it, if I don't talk about it, then I don't have to deal with it. But that's not really how life works. If you don't talk about it and you don't think about it, it just stays there. And it becomes worse, and it rears its ugly head in other capacities of your life. I remember through a couple series of events, 13 years later, I finally said, I think I need help with my mom's suicide. I've never talked about it. I've never dealt with it. I think I need to go to some therapy. And I did. I went to therapy for a while. Every week. For 5 years. And the gift that gave me was an incredible amount of healing. It was so much work was done in that room, and I was able to allow myself to be extremely angry. And that was okay. And I allowed myself to be incredibly sad. And that was okay. And I allowed myself to feel all the feelings that I had stuffed away for 13 years. And they were coming out, and they were raw, and they were real, and they were consuming. And I remember going into therapy. If I start talking about this, I'm going to cry. And if I start crying, I will never be able to stop. It will be so overwhelming. And you know what? I did make it through it. There were days that it was horrible, and I just thought, oh my gosh, this is horrible. I don't ever want to talk about this again. But it was progress. And talking about it and dealing with it and mourning over it and crying over it and being angry over it, I know that I threw some things, I broke some things, just in pure anger. And I made it through it. And those were so much more healthy and powerful for me than just stuffing it and saying, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to deal with this. With any suicide, people are always curious, why? Why do they do it? And I think everybody asks that question. Who's experienced suicide? And I think the answer is no answer will make sense. No answer will be good enough to a sane and healthy person. I do think, again, it speaks to her hopelessness and her desperation, but probably mental illness as well. And I would have to believe that most people who are taking their lives are suffering from mental illness, whether diagnosed or not. I have to believe that there is, depression or bipolar or addiction. I think there's mental illness involved. And so I say that we could ask ourselves until we're blue in the face for our entire lives, why did she do this? Why? I don't get it. Why? But there will never ever be a sufficient answer. And I had to get to a place where I could say, it doesn't matter. Even if I got that answer, it's not going to change anything. And it's not going to answer anything. And it's not going to solve anything. So I'm going to stop asking that question of why.